Greetings everyone and welcome to Malix Plays. This will be my first video that actually contains spoilers, so if you have not played Vampire the Masquerade, well, you've been living under a rock, but you should probably play it now and not have anything ruined for you. This game came out quite a while ago, which is why I'm willing to do a spoiler version of this game. I'm also using a fan-made patch for it. This isn't any of the mods that add additional stuff. It just fixes up the gameplay, because when this game came out, it had a few bugs, as you can imagine, but the company kind of went bankrupt after it was made. But it's such a fun game that the fans themselves got basically started making the fixes for it, and they're still making them to this day. I think the last patch came out February of this year. So what we're going to do is start a new game. And we are going to say, the world of darkness is a place of immortal monsters that pull the strings of humanity. Violence and despair are commonplace here. The world is bleak, but escape is ever present. Commodity, perhaps too present. Well, this is basically, if you have not played anything in the White Wolf publishing series, we're going to go directly to character sheet. It is a very dark, cynical game. It's basically always on the cusp of the end of the world. Now, you're playing as vampires, and vampires have clans. Clans are each like different kind of versions of vampires. You have the gangrel, which are the kind of wild animal ones. Malkavians, which I will not be using this time. These are the Nosferatu. Nosferatu, I always recommend that you play one of these clans, like Bruja, Toreador, Tremere, or Ventru first, before you play Malkavians and Malkavians and Nosferatu. So Gangrels you can play too, but Malkavians you want to play after you've beaten the first game, because they are insane, and the insight in the game, like the little in-jokes for it and the foresight, are hilarious. You will laugh, especially if you listen to the TV reports. But we're gonna skip that for now. Nosferatu, as you can imagine, in a society. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm going to do a little back check. Vampire the Masquerade. The Masquerade refers to, basically, if you've seen Blade, you kind of get the idea that vampires exist, but they've been kind of staying in the background. They make sure to keep all their, they don't go out and openly feed. They don't throw trucks around. They keep quiet, and the way they do that is through the Masquerade, which is they just basically have people do what they want serve them during the day and take care of what they want, and then they go through at night and do their thing, but they never do it, they don't do it openly. They do it in secret. Obviously a Nosferatu can't do that, so you're going to spend a lot of time in stealth. So it's not one you want to start with as a first challenge. You want to come to this after you've played the game, you started learning the system. So I think today I've not played. Tremere are fun. Tremere are the mages of the, and they have some fantastic, if you love seeing stuff blow up with blood and guts, and not guts, but I mean it's extra blood, play that one. I'm going to try the Toreador, which are they're the most humane of the vampire series, and I'll go ahead and be male. Doesn't really matter. Alright, so we are going to pick our traits. Now, traits just basically change how you want to play the game. Like, if you want to be, you want to do a more fighting style, you want to put more points into brawling or weaponry, and then you want to put some points into, firearms, melee, security. If you want to be stealth, you put more points into, well, not appearance, but I'm looking on here for this stuff. Mental. Like, it tells you right here, if you want to look at stuff, like right here, it says, like, if you want to put points into, where is it? Sneaking. It highlights the two items you need, which is dexterity and stealth. So you'd want to put a point into that. I don't have any, I can't put any points into here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a persuasive person, because the Toreador is closest to humanity. He probably wouldn't want to fight, and he probably wouldn't want to pick a fight with, he doesn't need to stealth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a point into charisma. And let me see, haggle. Haggle, I've never had a problem when I've played this game with haggle. Seduction is definitely one you want to put points into, especially if you need blood, stuff in your blood pool. We'll get to that in a second. And wits, hacking. Hacking is one, like, I feel like hacking is one of those ones that if you've played this game a few times, you don't need to hack. You know the passwords, because this had a great system for if you do spend a lot of time on computers, you gotta learn how to hack people's information, and it works out very well. But I know a lot of the passwords, and there's even if you go on GameFAQs, you can go look up all the password information, so you don't need to have hacking. You can just type in the passwords, or you can even in the game it gives you hints. Perception, inspection, yes, I want that because there's a lot of hidden items that show up easier when you get this. Talents, dodge, intimidation, subterfuge, which I want 1 point into that. Couple points into that because seduction, especially when you're a vampire, because this game is basically all about you have to be a vampire without making anyone realize you're a vampire. So we're gonna put some points in the lockpicking because that's always a good trait. Especially if you played the storytelling version, which is the old role-playing game set, it is fantastic because it's very much a story. And you get to play with your characters. This particular one, I kind of wish they could have expanded. I wish the company had been around to make another game of this and maybe added some more features, like making it you can have a custom face. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. Inspection and scholarship. I want to put another point into persuasion, but I'm going to put another point into inspection because I really want that. Now, disciplines. Disciplines are fun in a bun. These are your vampire superpowers. A couple of these, like I can't pronounce this. Auspex. I'm probably saying it wrong. I'll look it up later. This one lets you see auras around you, so you can see through walls when you get this put up really high. You can see who's hostile, who's friendly, who's a vampire, who's celerity is. This is one of those ones that you can't use everywhere. This is like, it's supernatural speed. Now, if you saw someone running at the speed of a car, you would be suspicious. So that would violate the masquerade. Doing that is a big no-no. In this game especially, because if you get, these are your masquerade points here. If you get these knocked all the way down, you're dead. And even if you only knock down one or two, you're going to have hunters show up. Because think about it. Think about Supernatural if you've seen the show. It usually starts with them on the computer looking for weird things that are happening. So generally you don't want to mess with that. However, in combat situations is definitely one that you want. Presence. I haven't played with presence too much because I haven't played a lot of those vampires. It says the dread presence of a vampire can strike mortal fear into the hearts of their opponents. Reduce enemies' effectiveness in combat. All levels of presence cost 1 blood per activation. That one's good, and I might put points into that one later. But I think for now, I'm going to put a point into Auspec. Alright, and I think that's everything. We're going to change that name. That's one of the names I like to play under for these kind of games. I pick. If you ever want something cool for a name, go look up drow name generators, and just those are I usually like to have good little drow names because they're unique. All right, so we're gonna go with Malix, and let's begin the game. The Embrace, the act of transforming a mortal into a vampire. And I should say these vampires don't sparkle. These are pre-sparkle vampires. This is, I would almost say it's the definitive vampire if you want to have a vampire who is essentially a good person. Well, did I turn the volume down really low, didn't I? So I might have to turn this back up, and I might have to deal with just hopefully not the music being bad. I'm always concerned with YouTube. And in this case, I'm always iffy about YouTube. Always iffy. You have to be iffy with YouTube. You always hear those stories about somebody being banned or having a video removed because of a reason that's not yours. So for basically what's happened here is that it's kind of obvious what happened. Like, you're basically in bed with someone and they whispered, "I want to show you something," and then you scream because they bit you or fed you their blood. I think the vampire lore changes all the time, and I'm not sure if it's just because it's of my Windows operating systems or this patch, because I've never seen that roof get removed. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I can do that now. I'm going to turn it up now. I didn't want to ruin the story, but you can't hear anything. In fact, I don't think I can hear anything either way. There it goes. Ah, okay. So part of the problem is that I'm also using wireless headphones, and the sound was so low that it actually turned off my headphones, so I couldn't. It wasn't picking up any of the sound. So, and these captions are just. I'm gonna turn off the captions too. I'm not trying to. It's just they're awful. So yeah, this is an older game, like fairly old. So you are gonna have stuff that's going on. So basically, yeah, you were turned into a vampire, and these dudes showed up. Basically, it's a big no-no. You're gonna learn a little. You get pick up on this later, but there's definitely the game is about like basically three factions of vampires trying to fight to get control of Los Angeles, and then there's a non-vampire doing the same thing. The dude who's in front of me is the leader of the. Oh crap! It's the Camarilla. I'm terrible with the names right now. He's the leader of the Camarilla in the Los Angeles area. If you know, it's just most of the time it's like they're just kind of enforcing laws, and they've moved into Los Angeles fairly recently because Los Angeles was known as a anarch state, which means that it's run by the anarchs. That your vampires are like, we don't need to have a government structure. We can take care of our own. We're not stupid. And then you're going to also meet the Sabbat, which are the group that are like, we don't need a government. We don't need to actually. We don't care if humans know we're there. And it sounds like the sound and graphics are a little bit off. Yeah, this is one of the downsides to having the patch be fan-made, is that sometimes it does mess with the games. I mean, you can't guarantee it, but there's no official patches anymore. Oh god, these are really ugly graphics. It's been a long time. You can tell like this is a fairly older game. They've kind of done some work, but most of the work hasn't been done on it yet. I love him. He's the leader of the Anarchs, if there is a leader in this game. Mr. Rodriguez, as he's referred to here. This is a game that's like this is definitely fun. It's worth multiple playthroughs, because there's definitely decisions that you make in the game. It has branching decisions. They don't affect how your game ends. The game has multiple endings, and regardless of what you choose, you're going to get only those 4 or 5 endings. I don't remember how many there were, but they all end. So I mean, it's not it's still a linear game, because you can't leave, you know, as everything is like they're all leaving. Like I can't go from like where I am now to downtown Los Angeles or Hollywood, but I basically just kind of you basically get the idea. It's like you're stuck in an area, but you do have some freedom. Like you can move around and do missions as you want. You can skip missions. You can choose to pick up a crap. I can't remember what they call them. We're not going to worry about that right now. Yeah, he's a bit of a douche. There is basically the endings are picking a faction and, you know, fighting with them. So yeah, there's like, I don't do it very often, but I don't think I've actually ever done a mission with LaCroix, because he's such a tool, man. I mean, you can hear it in his voice. He's about ready to kill you, and he's just like, now he's just like, oh, I saved your life, you owe me. So, but you're going to actually meet one of my favorite vampires in the game. And I mean, there are some great ones. There are some fantastic vampires with fantastic stories. This one is my favorite, though, because for one thing, it's just the voice acting for this character is top notch. Alright, yeah, WASD and the Z, blah, blah, blah. Alright, so now we can move around. And there he is. This is Jack. See, now this is what I want for captions. And we're going to go ahead and do this. The tutorial will be the first video, and then we'll get to the Santa Barbara area. Yeah. Well, this is one of those things that was patched in, and it looks like there probably was supposed to be some animation to go with it. So there is a couple of that. There is just some, like they went, the patch that was made by the fans was made to be, it was made to be, to feature in some stuff that was locked out. But it looks like some of the animation stuff was not fixed or it wasn't available. Because it sounds like what we're supposed to do is kind of meet me outside and then cock me and walk me over here. But so there's just some things that are just going to be a little bit wonky, but I feel like some of the patch stuff is just, it does fix the game a little bit because there were some game killing bugs originally. Yeah, you can't help but love Jack. Jack is just basically the father figure you need in this game. He's basically he takes no sides, and that's mostly how you survive in this world, sort of. In the game itself, you never ever want to be the vampire on the odd side of whatever argument. Right now for this game, the three factions, well, two factions. The third, you can't join the Sabbat. That's just kind of stupid. The Sabbat are idiots. Sabbat in this, they're not. For people who play as Sabbat in the game, I'm gonna retract that statement. The Sabbat they don't care about the masquerade. They don't care if humans know about them. They're just gonna be like, I'm going to kill people and eat them and then drain their blood and make things work for what I want. Okay, so we're gonna go head over here, and I believe, there we go. Yeah, that's just more wonk. That's just, yeah, I gotta get some new graphics cards and some new video programming that works better than this, it seems. Alright, so there's that, and he's having a cigarette, and I'm gonna have something to drink too. Alright, so you want to be careful because among things like the masquerade, you also have humanity. Humanity, alright, we're cut off here. Humanity is something like, you want to keep it high. You want to keep it very high. Let me see, pull up the character sheet. Humanity right here. The higher this is, the less likely you're going to frenzy when your blood runs low. Your blood running low is a serious problem because that can lead to masquerade violations, because you will act on pure instinct. Your screen will go red, and you will have complete and utter lack of control of your character, and that means you could be out in the middle of the street, your screen will go red, and you will attack the first person you see, which is a masquerade violation, and then the cops show up, and you can usually die just from that mistake. So keeping your humanity fairly high is a good thing. It's great. When do I get my cape? Do I get to pick the color? There's the smart-ass things in this, like I said, the dialogue is just so funny. I'm getting drawn into the story here. I don't mean to, but it's like what? It's very much like humanity. You want to keep humanity high. You want to keep your masquerade high. But sometimes you just have. I mean, it's a threat and a worry, because sometimes you're asked to do stuff that can be questionable, or you can fail a mission and then you get a masquerade violation. And you can get that stuff back. You can do missions to clean up your reputation and or restore Masquerade or restore humanity, but they are few and far between. And when it gets closer to the end game, it gets more dangerous. Um, yeah, he's just basically explaining the rules of vampires for this world. Sunlight. I do like the fact sunlight. A lot of people in a lot of shows have kind of walked away from the sunlight. Um, and maybe that's for practicality. I mean, something that can be killed by sunlight, that would be pretty bad. All right, now there it goes. Yes, open the damn door. Okay, so I'm in a machine shop, so we're going to go. Yes, okay. Yeah, the tutorial section, I kind of wanted to skip it, but there's some valuable items and you get some experience from this. That's the other thing. Like this game, you don't necessarily there's no level 1, level 2. I don't think there is. Yeah, there's no level 1, level 2. You get points, and you can put those points into anything. It does cost. And there's that roof glitch. I lost my train of thought. The points, I can put, as things stand right now, I can learn how to do more lockpicking, and I can put a point into that instantly. Or I might have to pay 4 skill points to get that 1 point in. It sounds more complicated than it is. Oh, it probably would have helped to put the captions back on for that. But it's just basically telling me that the Sabbat have shown up to the the gathering so that they can make their presence known. And for now, it's let me get a drink here while I listen to the. Yep. And now you get to see the Enforcer. This is someone you really don't want to mess with. And that's why. He can summon spectral wolves and a plague of locusts. But any case, these are you get to kind of meet the big political players of this game. Now, since this is, like I said, early development game, they didn't put a lot of time and effort into, say, lockpicking. It's a very simple setup. It just basically it's a role-based system. Most I don't want to say D&D. Most role-playing game systems are designed that way. It gives you a randomized number between whatever, and then you have to be. Basically, it follows the rules of the tabletop or the paper versions of the game. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. So, been a little too quiet. So, we'll just go with the simple thing. Like, there is, says this note, use this note, and it tells you the password. For a tutorial level, that's probably the best, it's pretty obvious what they do. Usually you can find a note. I'll show you real quick. And this is one of the things, I wish they could have fixed, is that you do have to do the typing manually for this. Alright, save. Password. It says Control C. We know the password, so I'm going to just go ahead and show you. You hit Control C, making a hack attempt at skill level 1. Didn't work. I need a skill level of 2 to continue hacking. So we're just going to save and chop shop. Alright. Yeah, it looks like we might not be able to finish the first video through the tutorial. But we've unlocked that. We escape. Now we can open this. Arg. I'm going to figure out how to turn off tutorials. Now, yeah, chop stop key. So we can take that out. Alright, so that's Jack, and we're going to continue on in the next video. Definitely looking forward to the next part. Now I will see you guys in the gaming universe, and for now, so we'll leave it there.